Hello everyone. Hola. Today I want to talk about intimacy. I have already touched on this in a few videos, but it's never enough. And I always share different things or slightly different things, and my energy is different, and your energy is different as well, depending on which day and at which time you watch it and experience me. And again, it feels important that I continue to insist on the concept and the inner experience of intimacy. With oneself first, there is not much or none of intimacy that we can have with another human being if we don't really know what it is, not so much intellectually, but what it is how does that feel? And what it means to oneself to experience intimacy. I think this video is going to go very slowly. And I'm not going to rush to find the words or anything. So stay very still and very attentive, fully present. And be aware of your ego telling you that I'm speaking too slowly, or that you're getting bored, or that this is not really relevant for you, or you falling asleep. Any of those things, just be aware of them. There's nothing wrong with any of them, just be aware. There's actually a couple of spiritual teachers that I tend to fall asleep with, and it's not because what they're saying is not interesting. I always love what they're saying, but it's in their energy and some reaction that happens to me, and I tend to fall asleep with them. So sometimes I use them to fall asleep, actually, when I feel that more hours of sleep would help me feel more energized, and I put some of their content on and don't watch it, just listen to it, and I fall asleep to their voice and their messages, and I'm sure that things are getting to me subconsciously as well. And other times I choose to listen to them at times where I know that I am awake enough, and I really try to be very present with what they're saying and drink from their wisdom. Just experience them and see what happens within me. Not just that very moment. Many things also happen that are transcendental for us. They have a reflection of it in later hours or days or even months. And you're even aware, and you have your aha moments. Like, oh my God, now I remember that sentence that she or he said that they, at that moment, it makes all sense right now, or it's happening to me right now, or I'm embodying that, whatever, you know. So going back to this present moment between you and I, you and I know it may feel a little bit weird that I'm just so directly talking to you, but that's a kind of weirdness that we want to overcome with other humans. When we are very present and no one is disrespecting or abusing us, that we should just get the heavens out of where we are. If nothing wrong according to your conscious self is happening and you feel uncomfortable or weird in an intimate moment with someone because there's physical closeness or there is a lot of truth coming up in what you're expressing or feeling or wanting to express or desire, or even confusion as to not know what to do next, then some form of discomfort or weirdness may come up, and most people try to get away from that. And sometimes they get away from those moments, and sometimes they even get away from people who are wonderful, but that wake up in them that feeling of discomfort and weirdness because of how honest and authentic and loving or daring they are. And if we find the courage to just stay there with that discomfort and knowing that we are safe in the presence of the other person, I would allow myself to be completely in discomfort with someone that I know is going to treat me respectfully and lovingly at all times. Because I know that I would be growing so much, and liberating myself from so much stuff that we're carrying around in our lives as humans, unconscious stuff. When you allow yourself to be in discomfort consciously and you choose that, magic happens in a few seconds or minutes. Just have to learn to not fear your own fears. That's the first step. You fear looking weird. You fear looking ridiculous. You fear looking ugly. You fear looking small as compared to the other person. You fear feeling too much. You fear feeling too little. You fear desiring too much or in a specific way that you don't think the other person is going to desire. You fear the unknown. Like the ego is going to come up with these questions or affirmations like, what is going on here? I don't like this weirdness. It may also say, this person is weird. This is strange, I don't like it. Let's get away from here. Let's bring this moment to an end right now. And come up with some excuse to just get out of this moment. Or decide never to see this person again. or be in this kind of environment. It could be a course, a retreat, normally specific places, because most people in society are not behaving in a very, very authentic and loving way, so that you can feel triggered by your own insecurities. Most people are acting in a way that is considered normal, very standard, that are not very likely going to trigger you, because that's the way you are used to relate with people. When you go to certain places or interact with certain people who are quite conscious of themselves and have worked very much on their own fears and limitations, and they are quite free, then they're going to want to relate with you at a very honest and deep level. And if you're not able and you have not practiced that level of authenticity and truthfulness by yourself in front of the mirror, then you're going to feel uncomfortable. Have you ever stared at a stranger for seated one in front of the other, quite close to each other, not touching, for 5 minutes? See how your ego is going to react to that? Big time. You're going to put faces, and you're going to want to look away, and you're going to listen to so many questions and affirmations inside, and wanting that moment to come to an end. I have experienced that myself in the beginning of my, not even spiritual journey. I think it was a little bit before that. And even with your partner, have you ever really sit with your partner and not say a word and just be present with one another, with no fictional characters present, like the person that you normally think you are and present in society, and the other person doing the same? If you are not used to meeting this true self of yours and your core energy, you won't be able to do that with another human being. And before you experiencing weirdness with another human being in an intimate moment, whether there is touch or no touch, your ego is going to tell yourself in your solitude that the moment that you want to come out of your character and really explore who you truly are and how you feel about yourself and about your life or about this world, and asking deeply who you are or how you are and who you want to become as a human, then your ego is going to try to avoid that, because it experiences that as weird, unfamiliar, and therefore a threat. So all forms of intimacy start with us. One of the best memories, I was remembering this morning when I was in bed. One of the first memories that I have being intimate with myself and being surprised by that level of intimacy and wonderful weirdness, it was 2 years ago when I was living in Galicia. I lived there in a coastal town, small town in the province of Lugo. I lived there for a few months, and there was this beach, so big and so raw, so natural. And because I lived there outside the summer time, some days I could experience that beach entirely for myself or almost for myself. And I started practicing nudity there. I don't think it was the first time, but probably one of the first times. I think the first time that I for sure went into water naked. Which was just beautiful, wonderful. I love it. I loved it and I love it. But it was more of spending hours in the sand and the sun, that it was not very strong. So I was not concerned about my skin or it was too hot or anything of that sort. There was like a light breeze and there was the sun and some clouds, and I closed my eyes and just connected with a part of me that doesn't have any notion of what being normal or being a human really means. And this part of me was asking me to just move around the beach and sometimes take my towel with me. It's a very cotton and it's very light. And sometimes it would ask me just to put myself in a certain posture on the sand, sometimes to crawl. And I was there for several hours. And at some point I felt like, who am I? What am I doing? What is... It feels so sweet because I was connected to my true being. I was not trying to be anyone or anything. I disconnected from the notion of Maria. And it felt amazing. I felt alive. And I wasn't doing anything that could be considered exceptional in society. I was just connecting with the environment. It was very natural and felt very pleasant, in contact with my body, with my physical body. And then on a metaphysical level, I felt like integrated in the universe. There was no distortion. There was no... My physical mind was not judging things as... Well, sometimes some thoughts would pop up and like someone could see you or what are you doing, but I would just go back again to I'm loving this moment. It feels so wonderful to be in this state of consciousness where nothing matters. Time doesn't exist. I don't know who I am, and I'm not asking who I am. It's just me, whatever me is here now. Being present, fully present, as much as I can, without forcing it. Loving myself at this moment. Experiencing that it's okay to be me, whatever this me is. It's actually beautiful. It feels really good. I also felt that I wanted to share that me with someone at that moment. At times I would feel that. I was like, some other humans have to see this me, they have to experience this me. and I have to enjoy it. They're going to love this me because it felt so good inside that I couldn't conceive of someone not loving this me. I hope that you understand that I'm not talking about myself because I think that I'm more important than anybody else. This me that I'm talking about is actually universal. It's just that it is projected by God consciousness or materialized individually in different beings. And each one of us have a unique version of the me with capital letters. And I talk very much about myself because that's how I can inspire you and get you to have a reference of what I'm talking about by giving you examples of my own life. And I guess the higher purpose here is that you connect with your own me. And that you don't experience yourself weird, or you experience me as weird, but instead unique and natural. Your energy and the way you speak or how you present yourself in the world doesn't have to look very similar to mine. You have your own voice and your own energy.